The following is the production of WEGL 91.1 FM.
That ball is gone. It's a walk-off home run for Stephen Williams.
WEGL Sports,
The Tigers are headed to the College World Series.
where every
Touchdown Auburn! Jacoby McClain!
game
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow!
lives. And welcome inside the Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and WEGLFM.com. Hello, everybody. It is your beautiful, handsome, dashing, award-winning, gracious, did I mention beautiful, host.
Oh, thank you, Jared. It's very nice.
Jared Dillon, and joining me from wherever they may be is Davis Carroll and Jack Hart. Davis, we'll start with you first. How's that first match of Call of Duty going?
Well, everything's making me download stuff, so I'm just I haven't played anything yet. I'll let you know when it does, though. It's my wake up match. It's a new tradition.
So when your internet goes down, we know what it is that dang 70 gigabyte update on Call of Duty.
So there's so many of them. I had to delete like 4 games yesterday to download it.
And Jack, how are you doing today on this fine morning?
Hey, good morning, Jared. It is a wonderful week to be a sports fan. It's not only the conclusion of the hockey playoffs, the beginning of the NBA MLB playoffs, the conclusion of the NBA playoffs sometime in the next week or two, and it's of course Georgia Hate Week. So, the hell with Georgia.
To hell with Georgia. Georgia Hate Week. MLB playoffs start today. NBA finals start tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll get to that. NFL, NBA, college football news. It's all on the docket. But first, we're going to open up with Monday Night Football as the Chiefs took on the Ravens in a prime time showdown where it looked like from the jump the Chiefs just got out and then it was whatever after that. The Chiefs a big win over the Ravens on Monday Night Football, 34-20, and moving our rankings in the NFL pick'em standings around a little bit. Me, Davis, and Alec were the only people to pick the Chiefs. We were split pretty much down the middle. Thank you to that random guy on Twitter saying Chiefs, because, dang, if he would have said Ravens, I would have changed my pick right there. I want you guys to know. But the current NFL pick'em standings, Alec is in first place. Bay and Davis are tied at second, 2 games behind Alex. 2 games behind them is me. 1 game behind me is Jack. Jacob is 3 games behind. Jacob's 27-20, and he went under 500 in pick'em this week. So he's straight up not having a good time. So take that for what you will for Jacob. So let's go ahead and begin the extra point detailing that Chiefs-Ravens game and what was a dominant showing by the Chiefs. And also, Lamar Jackson just flat out saying the Chiefs, they're our kryptonite. They're our roadblock. We are never going to be, well, he didn't say this part, but in a nutshell, we're never going to reach the promised land if we can't figure out how to beat the Chiefs. If I had to compare this to anything, this is like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. The Colts were always a good team, but they could never get past Tom Brady. Eventually they did once or twice, but
It's like the Utah Jazz and Michael Jordan.
it's anything like that. I don't know who the equivalent for any other sports team would be. I guess for Auburn, if we're talking about Auburn football, it's Auburn football.
Tigers and literally anyone.
Yeah, I will say Auburn football in themselves.
You make a good point, Jared. That Lamar Jackson has 4 regular season losses total in his career, and 3 of them are to the Chiefs. So that's exact. That means exactly what you think it does. That this team just has the other team's number. I think some people are really missing the narrative of last night, and I think Pat Mahomes played great. He played serviceable. He played Pat Mahomes, but I think the real story of last night was the Chiefs' defense, because defense is the reason that the Chiefs won that game last night, because that game was relatively close in the third quarter. I believe the Ravens came back and made it 27-20. Got it within 7 points, but in the first half, after the Ravens' first drive, where they went down and got a field goal, they were pretty much anemic for the entire first half. I believe they got another field goal in the first half, and they got a special teams touchdown with a kickoff run back. So the Ravens were basically flying blind for an entire first half of football, and they still managed to keep it competitive. It shows that their offense can be prolific, but Kansas City made the right plays to really put them in check squarely in the first half of the game. And you saw it ended up being a two-score game with the Chiefs winning by 14 points, but that's after they had an entire first half head start over the Ravens after that defense completely shut them down. And I think Patrick Mahomes, his ball placement was great as usual. His quarterback IQ was right there where it needs to be. And Lamar Jackson played pretty good for the second half, but I think a lot of people are seeing this as a dominant Chiefs offensive rally when, honestly, if the Chiefs defense had not stepped up and made plays in the first half of this game, we could be looking at a 40-43 type of shootout as both teams scrambled to score down the stretch. And that's just how the teams play. I don't the Ravens. I banked on their defense being able to capitalize on the maybe Super Bowl hangover, call it what you will, just whatever was plaguing the Chiefs last week in Los Angeles when they only scored 17 points. In up until a last second field goal from Butker. Whatever was plaguing the Chiefs out in Los Angeles, I was capitalizing on the Ravens, who have historically had one of the best defenses in the league since their Super Bowl win in 2012, and going back even to last year, with riding that all into the playoffs. Their historically good defense was not able to bottle up the Chiefs in a way that they haven't been able to do in any of their three losses to them. So I think in order for the Ravens to contend for a championship, it's going to have to come down to that defense, because the offense is good enough. It's serviceable. I mean, you got the MVP there. So we just have to see. I mean, this is a game to circle and look at, because in all likelihood, we're going to see this matchup again.
I mean, we're going to see it either, in the divisional or AFC championship game. And Lamar Jackson's going to look to flip the script on the Chiefs. I don't like his chances. It's, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me a third time, I guess they're just really good. I don't know what happens the fourth time. But Kryptonite is pretty much a great way to put who Kansas City is to the Ravens. And, I mean, shout out to the Ravens defense. They held KC to one touchdown, and that was to Eric Fisher in the second half. But, I mean, they can beat everybody they want to. But the sad fact is, unless you flee to the NFC, you're not getting to the Super Bowl if you don't figure out a way to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs team. Or, for that matter, just not fall apart in the playoffs. Don't think I forgot about the LA Chargers showing you up that one time in the playoffs. I didn't forget. I keep receipts. Davis, what about you? How do you feel about that Monday Night Football showing between both teams?
I'm pretty happy with Pat Mahomes because he's on my fantasy team.
Baller.
Honestly, 40 points for me. But he was the only player to score double digits for me, so I still lost.
Well, did you start?
Yeah,
did you start carry on again?
I don't have. That's my other league.
Oh.
I'll give you my team real quick. Because Christian McCaffrey's hurt, so I have Leonard Fournette starting. And then after him, I have Chase Edmonds.
Sure.
And then DJ Moore, Marvin Jones, Mike Gesicki, AJ Green. Pittsburgh defense did really good.
That must be a deep league for you to have this kind of players.
It is. It's 14 teams. But yeah, I'm real. Chiefs played great. I chose them for a reason. I think Jack summed it up pretty well.
There's a cat behind me. Yeah.
What's his name?
Where's
it going?
It's a she. She's getting in the window because that's what she does in the morning. There's the cat that I hate so much.
What's her name?
Gigi. Like Gigi Cupcakes.
Gigi.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
GG Cupcakes.
No, it's GG, like GG Cupcakes. The place
Oh, I thought you were
down in
saying your
Auburn.
name. It was named GG Cupcake.
No, not saving my cat. But let's get away from that. MLB, NFL Monday Night Football has came and went. Now we turn over to Thursday Night Football, where the Jets and the Broncos will be playing this Thursday. And according to a post by NewJersey.com, the AL.com equivalent, Adam Gase is out if he loses on Thursday Night Football.
Mr. Crazy Eyes himself on the hot seat.
Adam Gase will no longer be affiliated with the New York Jets, as he is apparently, according to the article, lost the locker room, lost the players, and if he loses on Thursday, will lose his job.
Did he ever have them?
That's hard to say.
He was the guy with the Dolphins that started trading their best players just cause.
I mean, he almost single-handedly ruined Ryan Tannehill. I would, and Ryan Tannehill is now doing his thing over in Tennessee.
A dead man to start at quarterback in a playoff game in Pittsburgh at Matt Moore.
Good old Matt. He got destroyed by Bud Dupree.
So
shout out to the GOAT himself, Dan Orlovsky, who said that his 0-16 2008 Detroit Lions could beat the current Jets team 16 times.
yeah, I mean they probably could.
The current state of football in New York.
Dan Orlovsky ran out of the back
probably
of the
could.
end zone, so can he really talk though?
He said it.
Dan Orlovsky, come on, bro.
I mean, look, he can say it. He knows. He's history. He's in the history books, just not for a good reason. So
Did that year.
I'm just saying, he can talk. So Thursday Night Football, I'm convinced that they may have leaked this article just to get Thursday Night Football ratings up. Because it's Jets Broncos. It's Sam Darnold versus Jeff Driscoll. If Drew Lock isn't playing, which I assume he is not, he's not ready to come back yet. It's in Denver. I think the only thing they got going for them is the South Park characters in the stadium themselves, and that's pretty much it. I don't think anybody's excited for that game at all, other than, oh my goodness, we may get rid of Adam Gase if we lose. Like, do we see Jets players start dropping balls and not giving any effort just so they can just bounce to do?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that. They're basically tanking anyway.
I mean, Sam Darnold. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions against the Colts. Xavier Rhodes, former Viking, had 2 interceptions. One of them a pick 6. I believe last year for the Vikings, he only had 1 interception in total. So, I mean, they made Xavier Rhodes look good, and that dude was cut by the Vikings. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So Thursday Night
Did
Football.
play terrible last year.
So Thursday Night Football, we'll see what happens.
With 8 MLB playoff games.
Yeah, do we want to hit Stanley Cup first and give a shout out to those winners before we get into the nitty gritty of MLB playoffs?
Yeah, I'll give you some game 6 stats here.
So Game 6, it happened, it came, it went, and we won't get a Game 7, but we do get to crown a Stanley Cup winner as the Tampa Bay Lightning bringing the Stanley Cup down to Florida, where hockey reigns supreme, as they beat the Dallas Stars 2-0 in Game 6.
Yeah, we had, as everyone knows, we had the 2 southernmost hockey cities in the NHL competing in the northernmost hockey city in the NHL in Edmonton because of the bubble situation. So the Canadian national anthem still got to play before every game, just to remind everyone who invented the sport and who hasn't won a Stanley Cup in 26 years. But
Heck yeah.
Your 3 stars of the game were, of course, Victor Hedman, defenseman for Tampa Bay with 1 assist, Braden Point, center for Tampa Bay with a goal, and the guy who put the team on his back through this whole playoffs. I mean, you can't do it without your brick wall between the pipes. Tampa Bay Lightning, I'm sure this guy was happy to hoist the cup. That was, of course, Andrei Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay, 22 saves and a perfect save percentage as he shut out the Dallas Stars. I mean, that's got to feel good to close out a series with a shutout if you're a goalie.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
I mean, you know the rules.
I play goalie in soccer.
You know if the puck goes behind you, the other team gets a point. So you must know it must feel good to get a shutout, Jared.
It's true.
I do. I was a shutout machine when I played goalie in soccer. Okay, I was I was elite. Okay, I want you to know that. Actually, I don't remember if I had a shutout or not in soccer. I couldn't tell you.
Your 2 goals came from Braden Point on the power play in the first period, assisted by Nikita Kucherov, his 27th point of the postseason, and Victor Hedman, his 12th. That was Braden Point's 14th goal. And then the clincher in the second period, 7 to go. Blake Coleman, his 5th of the postseason, made it 2-0, assisted by Paquette and Maroon on that one. And it was a double goose egg in the third, as it looked like Tampa Bay played defensive and let Dallas squander as they come up short in a place that no one expected them to be. Not only Edmonton, but also the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, I'm for hockey. I've been thinking that for hockey and NBA, I don't really see why this deserves an asterisk. I mean, this is a legitimate Stanley Cup. I think the NBA Finals as well. You played a regular season. You played a full, unabashed playoff format, and the Tampa Bay Lightning looked exactly the same as they did back in March. So I think as far as those two sports, this is a time to celebrate for Tampa, despite everything that's gone on. I don't think this deserves an asterisk at all, and I think it was not a great effort by the NHL. And I don't know if it was lack of coverage or a legitimate great job by the league, but I don't think we saw one headline about a game getting canceled, postponed, moved, adjusted, anything for COVID. Nothing. Other 4 sports cannot say that. So, great job by the NFL double bubble situation, and they got a cup hoisted despite it being September.
I mean, it's a mixture of a lot of things. It's the fact that hockey isn't popular as the other sports here are in the United States, and it was going on in Canada. So from a perspective of actually being somewhere in the United States, it wasn't there, and you have to give a shout out to what the NHL did. It was that they held, I mean they held a wild card or a playoff bubble in Canada, and it went off without a hitch. And the sad part is nobody heard anything about it because it went over so well, right? And when history's done, when this is all said and done, history books will remember that the NHL did it the best, followed by the NBA. The NBA, the only reason why the NBA had any postponements was because of walkouts. But other than that, the NBA, outside of the one time, what was it, Daniel House did something stupid, right?
Yes.
Outside of that, and outside of Lou Williams needed some wings, right? The NBA was fine.
Pretty good too.
They better been good. There must have been some good wings.
I saw Jack Harlow went there and he said they're the best wings he ever had. So,
well, we're gonna have to hit Jack Harlow up and go over there. But other than that, I mean, the NBA and on top the NHL has done this wonderfully. They've done it better than I can say. What Major League Baseball has done their best, and I think they've recovered very well from what they've had to deal with the Cardinals and the Marlins, and the postponements that they've had. College football was always going to be tough because it's individual teams, not one big organization. So we see how things are going, and then the NFL. Well, we'll see how that goes throughout the season. But shout out to the Stanley Cup. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning, your 2020 Stanley Cup champions. And, you know, I'm not going to hear anything about hockey until they start back up again. So, congratulations to the Lightning.
I wonder when they start. It's got to be like a month from now.
It's going to be something like that. be a quick turnaround. Uh, Shout out to the Lightning. You did it. Celebrate for now. The parade is probably going to be, well, I mean, they're in Florida, so I don't know what the restrictions are on a parade, but there's going to be something. So that's your hockey for today.
We're
Let's
back up to December 1, so
December 1st. Okay, so they got
no time to celebrate. Hit the ground running.
they got two
Yeah.
months and change before the hockey starts again.
It looks like a bubble will be in place for the first part of the NHL season, but not the entire season. So, interesting.
Well, that's good to know, I guess, at least. Let's flip the script and let's head over to the NBA right quick. We do know that, there's a couple of big news coming out of the NBA. One of them, I think, is a feel-good story. The other one's being the NBA Finals. And the other one is, apparently, it was win or bust, or championship or bust for the Clippers because Doc Rivers is out. Doc Rivers is no longer the head coach of the Clippers. And that team feels like it's imploding right in front of us as days go on. What are the initial reactions for Doc Rivers being outed as the Clippers head coach?
I didn't expect that. I mean, he's been there for a while. He has not ever got over the hump of the Western Conference Finals. And I thought they might have given him at least one more chance with this new team he has. But it's kind of surprising, honestly. I mean, he's a really good coach. He'll get hired pretty quick. And I would not be surprised if he did stay on the Clippers in some fashion. Like if he came back as just team president like he was, but just handed over the reins of coaching to someone else. But he probably will end up somewhere else, maybe like the Sixers or somewhere, or the Rockets.
I mean, the Sixers and Rockets, I mean, those are good places for him. I feel like he doesn't want to go to the Sixers. I feel like that's just there's a lot of noise going on with the Sixers that he has to deal with. And I think he's done dealing with the noise. I think Doc Rivers would be A-okay going to a team like the Pacers, right? Yeah, I know the Pacers job isn't open anymore, but a low-key team where I could just coach and I ain't got to deal with all this noise that's happening around me, you know?
What team would that be, though? Like right now that doesn't have a coach?
Well, Pacers are out.
Who did the Pacers hire?
Didn't the Pacers hire... No, the Pacers are still open. Billy Donovan went to the Bulls, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the Pacers are still open. I mean...
The Pacers were thinking about D'Antoni, I saw.
Yeah.
As a last-ditch effort to keep Oladipo, which is not going to happen.
I mean, if I'm Doc, I want that Pacers job. You know? I mean, you got a young, up-and-coming team. You don't have...
I think if he wants to make the finals, I feel like the Rockets might be his best chance.
I mean, I guess it depends. Do you... Everybody wants to make the finals, but some people are just content with, let me just get this young team and let's build them up and let's go, you know?
I feel like Doc Rivers might be like that because, yeah, I think he might want to do that.
But keep in mind that this was a mutual decision per Steve Ballmer, so Doc Rivers was, okay with it. From Russillo saying, this surprised Doc. From what I'm told, he thought he was okay, but this locker room was even a bigger mess than I think we realized. Kawhi has never had to be a vocal leader, and PG doesn't have the respect for his teammates. That was from Russillo on Twitter. Which, I mean, that last part.
Yeah, all his teammates are clowning PG. I'm not surprised. Like, all of them.
So, the Clippers are imploding in front of our eyes, and I can only imagine, because I don't even know the contract situation for Kawhi Leonard and PG. I think PG has 3 years left after this year.
I think it might be down to 2, and Kawhi has 2 and 1, I think. So this is his second year, and then he can decide to opt into a third. I think it is, or it might be just a 1 and 1. I can't remember.
I can tell you that Doc Rivers had 2 years left on his contract. And the Clippers are obviously going to be looking for a win now type of.
I'm surprised they didn't try to trade
yeah.
Doc Rivers, see if they could get anything for him.
I feel like coaches' trades are so weird.
They don't happen very often, but they are interesting. I'll tell you that.
So that's currently what's going on with the Clippers. We'll keep that updated as what seemed to be everybody's most hated team in the NBA is imploding. So they're having a fun day on Twitter.
So who
at
do you think the
least.
Clippers are going to hire?
Uh,
None of the candidates out right now really seem to fit that team better
well,
than Doc Rivers.
the last time there was a surprise hire, nobody saw it coming. So shout
Who
out
do
to the
they have?
Nets.
Who do they have to promote internally? Because I mean, we saw the success of Nick Nurse getting promoted from inside.
I
the
think they have
organization.
like Sam Cassell. I think they might have Chauncey Billups.
I mean, I'm trying to look if there's any like list of like potential candidates. I mean, it's so early in this happening that there may not be one yet.
Adam Gase. He'll be free.
Oh, he'll somehow find a way. I'm telling you right now, that man falls forward. Here we go.
They've got Sam Cassell,
The New Orleans Pelicans.
Tyronn Lue.
Oh, Ty Lue, that's right.
I mean, they could just promote Ty Lue.
The Pelicans and the 76ers have already reached out to Doc Rivers. Per
I don't think
Spears.
Ty Lue wants to be in the same city as LeBron ever again.
So keep that in mind that the Pelicans and the Sixers have reached out to Doc Rivers already. I feel like the Pelicans have a lot less smoke around them than the 76ers do. And you have Zion, which I know opinions of Zion through the Extra Point group is different, but he wouldn't have to deal with PG-13 at least. He has that going for him.
I think Ty Lue's going to be the new coach. Just reading some stuff, I think he is.
If we're looking at the same thing, I see that Ty Lue not only has the Clippers' interest in talking to him for the opening in the wake of the Doc Rivers being let go, but Lue has the 76ers, Rockets, and Pelicans preparing to talk to him in coming days. Ty Lue is a hot commodity.
I don't really know. I think he's an okay coach. He's not amazing, but I mean, he's already on the bench in L.A. It's L.A. He gets to stay with his family there, and then he probably get more money for staying with the Clippers. And
I mean,
he
yeah.
keeps the same coaching staff that he's familiar with.
I mean, it makes sense to stay in LA and go to the Clippers. I mean,
And I think he's more of a player's coach after all. I think that might help the locker room. And Doc Rivers, I mean, he is too. But I think Ty Lue's more like, what play do y'all want to run, and we'll run it.
and Ty Lue knows about having to deal with a crowded locker room, I guess is the best
Ty
way to
Lue's
put
coaching
it.
strategy is, "Hey LeBron, what do you want to do?"
Yeah, he's gonna do that next year whenever they play the Lakers. Hey LeBron, what play do you want us to run?
And LeBron gonna be like, bro, this ain't the right team. So that's what's going on with the Clippers so far. We'll see what happens with them as time goes on. Other news is some things happened yesterday in Dallas where Mark Cuban. Well, if you don't know, let me just back up and tell the story. Delonte West, a former Mavericks player, has fallen on some tough times and was currently homeless after some unfortunate situations. And there was a report yesterday and video now that came out of Mark Cuban driving to a gas station and picking up Delonte West, bringing him to a hotel, then contacting his family to try to get him some help. So if you needed a little bit of sunshine today or something like that, there are people out there that'll help you. And Mark Cuban, shout out to him. I know that he has a tendency to have a big mouth, and he's not afraid to say what he wants, and he can get on some people's nerves, but he has a kind heart when he needs it, and he helping out Delonte West is a nice feel good story. The NBA Finals starts tomorrow. The Heat and Lakers. I know that we pushed off making that prediction yesterday, even though Davis made his. He was very confident. What did you say, Lakers in 5? Oh, okay.
Oh, Well, what I'm looking at is that the Lakers are favored by 5 points in the first game, over under 217.
So
That's what I'm
that's
seeing.
what 10
108, 109.
something like that. Oh no, what is this?
Goodness gracious.
Did
I mean,
did you did you flip the script?
It's still Lakers, but I'm going for
Oh.
the Heat.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Uh man, I want this to be a good series, but I just I need somebody to convince me. What does that say?
Yes, go Jack.
Oh,
It's
it says
Miami
Miami.
Vice.
I need somebody. See, I want to use the extra point Miami Vice logo now, but it's whatever at this point. I want somebody to convince me why the Heat will win this series.
Okay, I can do
Do
that.
do your best. Court is now in session. Prosecution,
Doom, 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 doom,
stop
doom.
it.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
Prosecution, please tell the court why the Miami Heat, or at least I should root for the Miami Heat.
All right, so if we go just straight up matchup based first off, the Lakers do have the advantage. However, it would be difficult for the Lakers to run their usual tall ball, I guess you could say, with LeBron. Who's their LeBron AD both low or whatever matchup they're running, and they'd have to switch it around a little bit. They'd have to get smaller players in there to guard all the Goran Dragic, Jimmy. Jimmy probably end up on LeBron guarding him. I think that's a okay matchup. LeBron might have the upper hand in that. And then Bam's going to be on AD.
Is it going to be Bam on AD, Butler on James?
I think that'd be the best way for the Heat to do it.
Dion Waiters on Dion Waiters?
Yeah,
Dion Waiters on
yeah.
them gummy bears,
I'm
bro.
excited. Dion's going to shoot some. He's going to be pulling up from the logo.
But the Lakers have Danny Green, who has been playing not good this whole bubble, not good defensively, and he is going to have to guard whoever comes off the bench, that being Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero. And when they're hot, they're hot. And they have so many plays that they can get them open and make the shot. I think that's going to be the X factor, that they can run the offense through Jimmy or Bam, and then they kick it out or do whatever, and then Duncan Robinson makes his 18 points. Tyler Hero makes maybe 20 or whatever. I think that's going to be really the X factor for them to come in and knock it out with Jimmy playing the same way. I mean, Jimmy didn't have the best matchup last time. Not saying Jason Tatum is as good as LeBron, of course, but Jimmy had to try to clamp him up, had to clamp up whoever was on the team, and he can play 1 through 5, and so can Bam. I think they have a decent chance of being the dark horse candidate for this series.
Where is the Lakers' defense going to come from in this series?
It's going to be AD, and I guess LeBron to an extent. It depends on how much he wants to save up for offense.
Right, and that's my concern for me is that the Lakers are a high percentage team. They take the high percentage shots, and they do all that offensively to consistently grind down opponents. We definitely saw that in that huge comeback they had against Denver, where they ended up the one game they lost. They came back from seemingly out of nowhere in the latter part of the game. We saw how they like to play ball, but what I like to see out of this matchup is exactly what you said. You got AD on Bam, you got Jimmy on LeBron, but who is and they're fighting around inside the arc, and you got Tyler Hero right there just calling for the ball constantly. So I think it passing, moving the ball around, getting the ball away from these dangerous guys on the Lakers for the Heat, spreading it out is going to be huge for the Heat. And if they can get high percentage shots, if they can get hot from three, I think it's going to be a long series for the Lakers. And I guess the only chance the Heat have of winning is just playing keep away, if you will, and getting it out to shots beyond the arc.
Yeah, I think it's all about three-pointers because they also have Jay Crowder and Gordon Dragic have been shooting really well from the bubble so far, along with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. And the Lakers are going to be stretched thin if they run enough shooters on the floor at one time. They can just keep AD and LeBron occupied in the arc, like you said, I think the Heat do have an actual chance. But the same goes for the Lakers. They have to watch the Lakers. They're not as good 3-point shooters, I don't think, but they're still able to heat it up when they need to. Be going for, Jerry? What you think?
I'm ready to rule my verdict. Both of you brought up very good points on why the Heat have a good fighting chance. The Heat probably have have a much better chance than people are giving them credit for.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes. Yes,
Should
sir.
we be allowed to change our vote, one-time change, after tonight's game?
Tomorrow. Game's tomorrow. Tomorrow, right?
The game is tomorrow, yes.
9:30. Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Game's tomorrow, right? Game's tomorrow?
I couldn't really hear what he was saying.
If it is the 30th, I got some school stuff I need to go take care of. So.
What's today?
29th.
Yes. You'll be able to change it one time only after tomorrow's game.
Right.
I'll allow it.
Depending on how it goes.
But history will remember your first pick. I want you to remember that.
That's fine with me. Yeah.
For me, after much deliberation of me playing with my cat,
Good old GG.
I've come to a decision on the matter. You both brought up very good cases on why the Lakers should fear the Heat, and I do appreciate it. However, I will rule in favor of the Lakers. Lakers in 6.
That's fair.
Lakers in 6. And it will be a weird 6. It's going to be like a... well, haven't the Lakers lost the first game of every series they played? Or am I getting that wrong?
Pretty sure they beat the Nuggets the first game.
Okay. But the first two series, they did lose the first game.
I agree it will be a weird 6. I think we'll see a buzzer beater in at least one of the games, like we saw out of AD in the Nuggets series. Because that really turned that series around. Had he not made that, the Nuggets really would have been in the thick of that series rather than playing from way down. It's going to be a weird 6. It's going to come down to the last second on at least one of these games, and I think that's going to be the tipping point. I was going to say Lakers in 6 as well. As much as I'm rooting for the Heat, I really... whether you want to get into conspiracy theory corner on who the refs want to win, or
I'm definitely all about that. You know that.
If you look at the patch on the jerseys, I think we know the winner. But I'd love to see the Heat. I'd love to see Jimmy Butler get a ring. I'd love to see the Heat who have really they've played. I mean, the Heat aren't an enormous market team. That they've been pulled. They got pulled out of the basement by LeBron in the early 2000s, and they're now back on the sweat of their own brow back to the finals after having an amazing turnaround the previous season. So I'm rooting for the Heat. It's a good story. It's good for smaller market teams that aren't New York and LA to get stars to come to them and build a. I mean, you wouldn't consider the Heat a super team, would you? I mean, they just have a bunch of serviceable guys that work hard and play well from a bunch of other middling teams, and they came together and put together an unbelievable performance. And I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them get a ring.
The Heat are not a super team, not in the sense that we think of super teams with Golden State, or what is now, I guess, the duo era in the NBA, where you have LeBron and AD, you have Kawhi and MPG, you have Luka and Porzingis, KD and Kyrie. I mean, we're in the duo era now. So in that retrospect, I guess it's Jimmy Butler and
Bam.
Throw anybody in there, I guess.
Or you could say Goran Dragic.
I was gonna say Dragic, but
Or
really,
Jay Crowder.
I wanted to make you guys mad and say like Tyler Hero or something. But
It's Jimmy and Duncan Robinson. That's who it is.
I'll take that. So NBA Finals, that's tomorrow. Make sure you get ready for that. All right, it's time. MLB playoffs. We didn't think we didn't think we'd get this far. Heck, I didn't think that the Cardinals would get this far after they were in the ground for about 3 weeks. But the MLB playoffs are here. They start in my time, about 4 hours. 4 hours, 2 Eastern. The Astros will play. And before we get any farther, I just want to say one thing only. The Astros better not win this World Series, or I will riot. I will riot if the Astros win. I'm getting tired of them already. But let's go ahead and get into the talk of Major League Baseball. This is what we're doing. We are doing a extra point gauntlet. Pretty much all that is that we're breaking down the baseball wild card and whole postseason. So some of you have already put in your bracket for the wild card round. Pretty much a point each for picking the winner and picking how many games it's decided in. For example, Yankees, Indians, who's the winner, and it will be decided in 2 games or 3 games. We do have superlatives for the wild card round, which is pretty much who will be representing the who will be representing the ALCS, who will be represented in the NLCS, who's going to be in the World Series. Some fun ones like who's going to be the highest seed to advance past the first round. Which top 4 team between the Rays, Dodgers, Athletics, and Braves will be the first eliminated. Things like that. And it's pretty much, think War Games from last year, but in a playoff format. This is what we're doing right now. Seeing that who has the biggest chops when it comes to deciding these playoff games. We did something like this similar last year with Ryan Walker and his show, The Ryan Express. I want to point out that I am the reigning original bracket champion, so I know my stuff. We won't talk about the revised bracket because Carter won, and Carter's
Jared, who's the revised bracket champion?
We don't talk about that. But I am, in my mind, the original reigning supreme champion, undisputed champion of the world. Okay, so keep that in mind while we do this. But, I mean, let's kind of just break down what we're looking at. Let's start with the ALCS. Davis, what? Davis, he disappeared behind a...
All right. So
wait, what? Okay.
he's working on a new look. So the first team today is those Houston Disastros, Lastros, Trastros, whatever you want to call them, the losing record Astros, with a 9-23 away record, are heading to Target Field in Minneapolis. Take on the 36-24, 24-7 Twins. So this on paper is a disaster for the Houston Astros. And we're looking at
are those games in the home park of the home team?
Yeah, we don't go to the bubble until we get to the
Gotcha. Just want to clarify that.
The divisional series. Yeah. So
no.
Once again, that is the 9-23 on the road Astros versus the 24-7 at home Minnesota Twins. First pitch at 1 p.m. Central and 50-degree weather up in Minnesota. That is Zach Greinke versus Kenta Maeda for Minnesota. The over/under is 7.5. The money line is 165 on the side of Minnesota. So Minnesota favored in that one, and rightfully so. Minnesota clutching out a big AL Central victory in that one. The Twins are going to hit a lot of home runs, and there's not much you can do to stop them. And I just don't see the Astros overcoming this good of an opponent. And frankly, the Astros shouldn't even be in the playoffs.
I like how you walked out. I like how you walked out first with White Sox and then went back in with Yankees.
I got both on.
All right.
Depending on how the picks go, I'll start stripping.
Well, I can say. Oh well, I don't know if we want that. Only one person can strip on this show, and it's me.
It's A-Rod and then a Michael Jordan jersey.
Do you have any takes on the Astros, Jared?
They're gonna get the Glock if they win this game. I'm getting tired of these Astros.
Oh my gosh.
According to the extra point gauntlet, out of the 6 responses so far that we have, 66% believe that the Twins will win this series, and most people believe they'll be in 2 games. 66%. So they're looking at a Astro sweep, like Jack said. Or sorry, a twin sweep. Like Jack said, the Astros are absolute buns on the road, and they're going to be without Verlander.
Ricky got shelled in the postseason last year.
Yeah, so the Astros may not even win a game this postseason, which good. They don't need to. They need to have some sort of punishment for what they've done. So
First
maybe
pitch,
this is retribution.
first pitch, 2 p.m. Central, which is noon local in the Oakland Coliseum. We have the White Sox visiting the Oakland Athletics. White Sox losing that AL Central race, so they have to hit the road to take on the Athletics, who are 22-10 at home. Over under in that one is also 7.5. Line 118 over to the White Sox. So White Sox favored in this one. Giolito probable for White Sox. Luzardo probable for Oakland. I think the Athletics, this might be their last year to compete. They've been almost there for the past 3 or 4 years, losing in a couple wild card games. And the White Sox, welcome back to the postseason for the first time since 2010, I believe. So they are looking to make some noise, but they have unfortunately have no momentum heading into this series. They've been skidding, and it cost them an AL Central crown to boot. So they have been skidding into the postseason. So we'll see if they can regroup, circle the wagons, and put together a good game against the A's here this afternoon in Oakland.
Yeah, this is a White Sox team that I would say if we're giving comparisons to like fun teams, they are I guess they are the Heat of the MLB, right? That a lot of people like them. They seem like they're a lot of fun, and by a lot of people like them, everybody, all six responses have the White Sox winning in 3 games. So everybody's on the same page with the White Sox. The door is closing on the A's. Moneyball. They got to figure something out before that door closes on them. But the White Sox, I think they're just way too strong. I
Alex
think
chose him too.
yes, Alex chose the White Sox too.
You know, the A's are his favorite team now.
Oh yeah, we made him have a favorite team live on the show.
Yeah, mine's Slam Diego. His is Oakland.
That's just
Next
disgusting.
up, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. local time. It is the Buffalo Blue Jays hitting the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays in the Trop. No weather there as we are inside, so that won't be a factor. Over under on this one is also 7.5, and the line is 185 over to Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay favored in this one. Matt Shoemaker getting the bump for the Jays. Blake Snell. It is bump day for Snellzilla in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay very good at home, 20-9. Blue Jays suspect at home, on the road, 15-19 with a 32-28 overall record. So nice to see a winning record in the playoffs for a lower seed. On this one, my take on Tampa Bay is that they are one of the most complete teams in baseball. They have depth at every position. They have excellent play at every position. But where that can get you is that there's no leadership. Not to say there's leadership, but there's no one that's going to make a standout performance. Tampa Bay plays as a team. They win as a team. They lose as a team. There's no one stand out on the Rays to put the team on their back. There's no Mr. October on the Rays. So while they are the most complete team in baseball, that is not always what gets you a championship when gets time to come down to the clutch in October. Austin Meadows looking to have a great postseason, and pitching is going to be crucial for Tampa Bay in this one. But I mean we've seen it for years. I think the Nuggets are a great comparison in the NBA. Is that they've always had a great team. They don't have the guy to push them over the top, and I think if Tampa Bay loses, it's going to be as a result of that because they have put together that their front office has put together some 4D chess moves, put together an unbelievable team that is performing way above their expected value.
Yeah, everybody believes the Rays are going to win this game. They just are split on how many games it's going to take. Split down the middle 50-50 on whether it's going to be a sweep for 3 games. I'm telling you, nothing will make me sleep well at night knowing that the Rays lose today. I'm telling you right now. I don't know what it is, but those Rays, we beefing. We beefing. can't stand him.
Why not?
But that's a long story. It's a long
Just
story.
Carter likes him.
It's a Shaggy Dog story. So
It's a long story that there's some extra point lore behind it.
Yeah,
it's a long
because
story.
Carter likes him, isn't it?
No,
A lot more went
likes
into
them
it.
because Jared doesn't like them.
Okay.
Which he really doesn't like them. So it's a lot. Yeah, never mind. So 6
It amplified
p.m. Central
itself.
Time, 7 p.m. local. It is Jared's New York Yankees.
We got Jared.
Progressive Field in Cleveland to take on the Indians. The line on this one is a dead heat even, over under 6.5. So pitching duel in this one, as two of the best pitchers are going at it in this one. I can see why the over under is so small. It is Garrett Cole on the bump for the Yankees, off-season opposition from the Astros. Garrett Cole getting the game one nod, and Shane Bieber, who has been probably the best pitcher in the American League this year, who is taking the bump for the Indians. So this one is going to be extremely close, and is going to come down to a couple clutch hits as these two wizards on the mound duel it out in Cleveland. 56 degrees in a chilly night on the lake in Cleveland for this American League wild card game.
Is it safe to say that out of the 4 games, this one's the toughest to pick? I mean, Vegas thinks so, right?
I mean, yeah, it's a dead heat. This will probably be the best game too. I mean, I love a pitcher duel, even though it's not great for ratings. It's not exciting for the casual fan, but it is mastery to watch these two, especially Shane Bieber with he's got killer movement on his ball, and of course everyone knows the legend of Garrett Cole moving over to the Yankees. So this one is going to be a paint the corners fiesta at Progressive Field.
Yeah, go Yankees. I mean, I know they had that rough patch where they lost they lost something like 12 of 14 at one point. It was something bad. And they
were
found their stride.
They were fielding a AAA team for most of the season.
Yeah. And they eventually found their stride. Ooh, we got a response in. Jack, was that you?
That's
it
me.
was you.
I didn't want to forget.
They definitely had a rough patch during the season, and I think they hit their stride. I think if we're listing like hottest teams in Major League Baseball going into postseason, the Yankees are up there somewhere. They definitely went in, or they're definitely coming in pretty hot. But
I think not only the Yankees but also the Indians are up there too.
Yeah. So you got your 2 hottest teams. I picked the Yankees, but I'm a homer, so.
So that's what's going on today. There's only 4 games today, but tomorrow and Thursday there are 8 games apiece. So the series that are going to kick off tomorrow are the Reds and Braves games, which comes on at 11 in the morning, local Central Time here, noon local in Atlanta.
Yeah,
the Marlins and Cubs. If you are not looking forward to this series, you are not a baseball fan, because every time the Marlins have made a wild card spot, they have won the World Series. So just pack it up, everybody else.
I don't know if I'm ready for a Marlins Rays showdown.
I wonder where Steve Bartman is right now, knowing that the Marlins are coming back to Wrigley. I think the Cubs should let in one fan for this game, and it's Steve Bartman, just to redeem himself.
Isn't there a cutout of him there, or am I making that up?
I mean, that'd be hilarious. It has to be. Jared's Cardinals taking on the Padres, 2 p.m. local, 4 p.m. Central.
I want you guys to know that I did pick the Padres. I want you guys to know
that one is going to be, according to AccuWeather here on ESPN, 100 degrees at first pitch.
By the way, there is a Steve Bartman cutout.
So we're going to have a 50-degree first pitch in Minnesota this afternoon and a 100-degree first pitch in San Diego tomorrow afternoon.
Look, I'm just hoping the Cardinals will stay competitive. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to watch this Padres team at all for some odd reason. I feel like I've watched every other team play baseball, but I've not seen the Padres play. And I'm just scared. I'm just scared of them. They got me shaking my boots.
And then the final series is going to kick off, which we can get into all these series tomorrow. The Milwaukee Brewers, another team with a losing record, are traveling out to the Chavez Ravine to take on the dominant LA Dodgers with a 43-17 record, 21-9 at home. This one's the most one-sided matchup in the playoffs, according to Vegas. Dodgers favored on the money line, 232. That one 98 degrees at first pitch. Bueller getting the nod, undecided for Milwaukee. So that's what's going on tomorrow. But the 4 games today are what we're focused on today, as the Twins, A's, Rays, and Indians all are starting their series this afternoon. And in a few hours, if you're for the Twins, they first pitch at 1 p.m. Central Time.
I'm excited. This is about to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be, when's the last time there were 8 MLB playoff games on one day? The answer is never.
Here's something. Well, let's talk about these superlatives that people put in, because I want to see your guys' reactions to some of these matchups that the current 7 of us, the 7 of us being Alex, Bay, Carter, myself, Jacob, Davis, and Jack. So who will represent the ALCS? We have different matchups. We have Rays Twins. Somebody believes in the Twins a lot. We have Yankees Rays. God help me.
Dude, I'm just going to let you in on a secret. That was
What?
me. And
Was it you?
The reason is because I think all the good teams are on one side of the bracket in the American League. The Rays are going to have to play the Indians and the Yankees. And then at that point, the bottom left side of the bracket is the Twins, Astros, A's, and Sox. And I think out of those 4, Twins, Astros, A's, Sox, the Twins are the best of the 4, just because of the momentum problem that the Sox have been having.
I will say there are 3 people that say Rays Twins. So the dream is alive.
That's just a result of how the seeding lined up, with the 4 and 5 being the Indians and Yankees.
We also have 2 people that says Rays White Sox. We have 1 Yankees and Rays. God help me. We have Rays, we have Yankees Athletics. I think that's the only one person put the Athletics in there. So, shout out to Moneyball. That has to be Alex, actually, now I think about it. So those are the ALCS matchups. In the NLCS, we have Dodgers Padres. We have Braves Dodgers. Dodgers and Braves, Padres and Braves, and Dodgers and Reds. All right, so somebody's drinking the Kool-Aid in Vegas because something's up.
I didn't do that one.
Reds are good.
I got Padres and Braves.
There's a reason the Cubs won the Central. If I'm not going to say by some, when the Reds beat the Braves later this week, they're going to be doing the Spider-Man meme with the Chicago Cubs, who handedly beat them in the regular season, or the Marlins if Steve Bartman interferes again.
Really, the Reds? Who? Part of me wants to leave it a mystery, not actually look to see who picked that, because I'm just astonished that I saw the Reds on there. I think the Reds would technically go down in our bracket as the highest seed to advance, being a 7th seed. Who are your World Series teams? Everybody but 2 people had different matchups, it looks like. So we have a Braves-Rays World Series matchup. We have Braves-Yankees, which I already hate those 2 matchups. Dodgers and Rays, Padres and Rays, and Yankees-Dodgers World Series matchups.
Man, Yankees-Dodgers would be... It looked like... We've been looking like we've been careening towards a Yankees-Dodgers World Series for years at this point. It's just never happened.
Maybe this is a year. I don't know. And then, let's see. Which of the top 4 teams between the Rays, Dodgers, Athletics, and Braves will be the first to be eliminated? I will go ahead and tell you right now that the Braves lead the way in that voting. Behind them are the Athletics. Actually, I
I
take
said
that
the
back.
Athletics.
The Athletics lead with 4 to the Braves 3. It's pretty much tied, if we're being quite honest. Uh, so Athletics or Braves pretty much will be the first team to go out of those top 4. Well, so explain to me. I know it's because like the Braves aren't hot right now, but what's going on with the Braves to where it seems like a lot of people are down on them right now?
It's pitching. It's the Braves have two serviceable starting pitchers right now. I think it's fair to say, and the Reds have one of the best pitching cores in the National League with Sonny Gray and the like. So I think with people are banking on with a small sample size of potentially 2 games. If you drop 2 games, you are out. So if you get an unlucky bounce, I mean, they only have to throw 2 great pitchers at you in order to shut down your offense, which has carried you through the back half of the season. I mean, if they can shut down Freeman, Ozuna, Albies, Swanson, and Acuna, the Braves got nothing left. So the Reds it's not a good pull for the Braves, who looked like they were about to play the Cardinals for the majority of September. After that huge shakeup in the NL Central, got bounced over to the Cincinnati Reds, and it's just not a good matchup with them because of the pitching. The pitching duel that Atlanta is clearly going to lose, and it's going to be on the offense. Who I don't. I can take a look at the season series between the Braves and the Reds, but just on paper, the Reds look like they're going to be pretty locked down on this Braves offense that's been prolific in the dog days of the season.
So yeah, it's been a long, tough road for a lot of teams, especially dealing with injuries. I mean, Cardinals, Braves, um, and like you said, the Yankees are filling a AAA team at one point because they had so many injuries. Uh, MLB is all about who gets hot at the end, and if you're coming in cold, you better find a heater quick or turn on the oven or something because you gotta light that thing up, and you gotta figure it out quick against one of the best cores in baseball when it comes to pitching when it comes to the Reds.
I forgot the Braves and the Reds didn't play because of the schedule or the Central. So that'll be interesting as well. We don't have a sample size for most of these matchups.
Yeah, like it's weird to me because I see the Cardinals play the Reds a lot, right? And the Cardinals did fairly well against the Reds, and I don't trust the Cardinals at all. So I just assumed that the Braves fans would be okay against the Reds. Um, but maybe I'm
Braves
wrong.
fans are just nervous because the Braves have not won a postseason series since 2001, and they always find a way to lose them. So it's they'll find something to complain about at any juncture.
So we'll see what happens. 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, when those dang Astros, the I guess defending World Series champion Astros, uh, yeah, exactly. They gonna get the smoke. So we'll see what happens in Major League Baseball. Anything else with baseball before we head off somewhere else?
Um, Let me check headlines, but I don't think people have just been. Thank God that the Cardinals didn't have to play those 2 games against the Tigers.
Oh yeah, that would have been terrible. That would have
Angels
been
fired
absolutely terrible.
their GM,
They did good.
and Juan Soto won the batting title. So business as usual in the
Well,
MLB.
let's pop on over to college football as the Vegas lines have been released for these weekend games. And out of the 7 SEC games being played, only 2 of them have lines in the single digits, and Auburn being one of them. But the line is not in favor of Auburn. Currently, Georgia has opened up as a 6.5 point favorite against the Auburn Tigers.
JT Daniels has of course been cleared to play and will be available on Saturday.
So there's that. That's gonna make pick'em interesting. When it comes down to it, that is the extra point game of the week. Is Auburn at Georgia. So Auburn
Got a
getting it.
good 11 a.m. slate. South Carolina travels to Gainesville, and Missouri takes on Tennessee. at 11 a.m. as well as TCU, who I don't know what their who did TCU play in their first game. They're heading to Austin to take on Texas, who just survived a scare in overtime in Lubbock. Texas is favored by 2 touchdowns in that one.
TCU
TCU
lost to
played
Iowa
Iowa
State.
State.
Yeah.
You also have number 24 Pittsburgh hosting the Wolfpack. Pitt favored by 2 touchdowns in that one. Carter told us yesterday that Pitt is the first ever team to start 3-0 and hold their opponents below 225 yards of offense in all 3 games. So,
Pitt, I'm telling
Combined
you.
or separate?
oh, it's separate.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was about to say. Whew.
I'm telling you, Pitt, they are the Clemson killers of the ACC. They're going to try to do it.
I picked Pitt.
I picked Pitt. I was right.
Moving to the
There you go.
2:30
I wanted to hear it.
slot. Alabama's home opener against A&M. That is a rank v rank matchup, but Alabama is favored by 17 points. So, A&M is about to have a come to Jesus moment when they realize they shouldn't be ranked 13.
I mean, out of all these games, that are double-digit spreads, so that's LSU, Vanderbilt,
Most of them are.
Arkansas, Mississippi State, Alabama, A&M, Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, Florida. Who's the favorite? Who's the double-digit favorite most likely to lose come Saturday? That's it. Yeah, see, I got you, didn't I?
I think Missouri can keep it within 12 Tennessee, if I'm being honest.
Because those are some what should be lopsided games, right? But we saw a lot of these teams, like your Arkansas and your Vanderbilts, keep their games relatively close. I know how the Arkansas game ended; it wasn't good, but Arkansas tried at least. We saw South Carolina keep it close to Tennessee. We don't know. I guess Missouri's full strength because they got slapped down pretty quick by Alabama. But the way college football is going, there's going to be a surprise somewhere on that list. So the question is, who is it?
So, also at 2:30, number 12 North Carolina is at Boston College. Boston College is 2-0, but UNC is favored by 14. USF is going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 3 touchdowns in that one. Oklahoma State on the road in Manhattan, Kansas, and favored by 3 touchdowns. Take that with what you will. 25th ranked Memphis is on the road at SMU. They are only favored by a field goal. Tulsa pays UCF a visit. UCF favored by 3 touchdowns. Arkansas is heading to Starkville to take on the Air Raid. Mississippi State only favored by 18 in that one. Take Mississippi State. 18 Oklahoma. It just when they thought things couldn't get worse.
Heck yeah.
Traveling to Ames, Iowa to take on Iowa State. And this is hilarious. Not even favored by a touchdown. OU negative 6.5.
I'm telling you.
That's disrespectful.
Ames, Iowa is where dreams go to die. That is a black hole of college football, and it will continue to be that this weekend.
Another game under the lights is LSU heading to Vanderbilt. We remember what happened last time that happened, but of course LSU down 1 Joe Burrow and 1 entire rest of the team. But still favored by 3 touchdowns in that one. And, of course, your number 1 team in the land, Clemson Tigers, hosting the Cavaliers of Virginia, favored by 4 touchdowns in that one. So, those are your ranked matchups for this weekend. Of course, there's a lot of intrigue going on, but we'll get into that later in the week. But it is it's good. It's good to have college football to talk about. Oh, and there's a game on Friday as well, as La Tech is taking on BYU. BYU favored by 24 in Provo.
I can tell you that the games that we're going to be picking this week will be Virginia Clemson, Kentucky Ole Miss. That should be a fun one.
Are we picking the line on Virginia Clemson?
I don't know.
Beating Clemson.
I don't know. After last weekend, I felt like I had to throw in a couple of this shouldn't happen, but it's on there. Okay. And I gotta give Jacob some gimme games because he's struggling. So
Let's see how bad he can actually do. Just make it hard for him.
Oh, well, we got Texas State, Kansas State. And then the hardest game to pick on this list, Jacksonville State, Florida State. Look, yes, I know that Florida State has opened up as a 26-point favorite, but I don't trust those Seminoles at all.
That's a joke.
So you're going to be picking that game. NC State, Pittsburgh, North Carolina, Boston College, Memphis, SMU, Oklahoma, Iowa State, A&M, Bama, and obviously Auburn v. Georgia will be the 10 games being picked this week. Just a reminder that
Is it just me, or does Auburn, Georgia not feel like a top 10 matchup this weekend?
it feels sluggish because we only saw Georgia be good for a half.
You
And
saw Georgia look like they didn't know what they were doing.
yeah. And for Auburn, we're still trying to process the new look offense. Like, I think everybody likes it, but it's also different. So we're not sure what's going to happen when we walk into Athens. Plus, I think we just have PTSD from Athens. I remember 14-7. I remember not getting a first down for a whole half. I remember punching a wall.
I remember an article on ESPN, does a win at Georgia stand between Auburn and a playoff contention?
I remember Atlanta. I was there for Atlanta. I remember getting barked at. Okay.
There's gonna be an article about Auburn's offense in Athens on Weagle.
Oh, are you writing it?
Surely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see you. And
Just
what
be ready
I'm
for it.
there's two things I'm regretting because it can happen either way. Either Auburn wins this game and the fan base and everybody else shoots Auburn to the moon, right? That this is it. The Bo Nix Heisman talk's gonna start. The Auburn National Championship talk's gonna start. Auburn's already gonna win the SEC West at that point. Auburn will probably be number 2 in the poll after that's done for. Like, if Auburn wins this game, they're getting shot to the moon. Or if Auburn loses this game, the only talk is gonna be, why did this happen? Is Gus actually still calling the plays? Is this offense really good for Auburn? Where's the running game? It's just gonna be. It's either gonna be.
100% true.
Yeah, it's either gonna be Auburn played amazing, national championship, here we come, or it's week 3. I know, but man, Gus is on that hot seat again. That's the only two ways this go.
If we win, they're already gonna start painting the mural by the one at Tumors. You're gonna go ahead and start.
They're gonna start dubbing some
I'll help.
stuff. Yeah. And I
You're
mean,
gonna start naming games and hoping they apply to some nicknames.
what the heck?
Nick 6.
They just revealed the NBA Finals court.
It's red and blue on each side.
It is. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, the logo's so big in the middle. It's like almost like sideline to sideline.
They could really pull from the logo there.
Pulling from the logo, just shooting a regular 3 at that point.
It's got Walt Disney World as a sponsor on the court.
Oh yeah, we knew.
And presented by YouTube TV.
Heck yeah, YouTube TV.
YouTube TV is nice.
It
Not a
is.
sponsor, but
I switched
I
to
enjoy
it. I switched
very
to it.
easy to flip between games.
When switching over to YouTube TV, when I got home from the Auburn Kentucky game, all I did was go back. Yeah, that's what it looks like. All I did was go
Got
back.
a good look, thanks.
All I did was go back on YouTube TV.
I tried.
And I watched the top plays from Auburn Kentucky on YouTube TV, and it just ran through all the top plays. That's a cool feature that YouTube TV has.
Yep.
I have Spectrum, so
Me and Spectrum be beefing.
Hey, who have?
But that does it for college football. Is there anything else that we need to talk about before we're done here? I think we hit all our paces.
Hell with Georgia. That's all I got to say.
The hell with Georgia.
and horns down while we're at it.
Edges are on the menu this weekend.
Let's see. We hit hockey. We hit baseball, basketball, football, NFL, and college. I think that's it. I don't have anything else unless Jacob pops in here and talks something about hockey, or not hockey, about
Golf.
Golf. I think that's pretty much it for us. All right. Well, I guess we'll just end the show.
Raisin
make
too.
You said Brazen too?
Said raisin too.
Oh, they said Raisin too. Okay. Well, it's gonna be a fun day today, everybody. Baseball.
It's raining.
Make sure that make sure you tune in for that. I know I'm cooking out, so I'm about to
This
go.
fall weather just won't go away.
This cool weather. I think it's supposed to be like
It's been unseasonably cool for the past week and a half.
the high today over.
Feels great.
The high today over Smith Station is 66 degrees.
Is it still raining outside?
It's raining here, at least.
Doesn't look like it is anymore.
I think in the next 10 days, only Thursday will get into the 80s. So we're officially in fall season, boys.
Thank goodness.
So you can wear the long pants and
Spring
jackets now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So baseball starts soon. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I know that I'm cooking out on the grill. I have some barbecue going. I'm gonna get some ribs going. You already know I like to cook.
So you're barbecuing.
We will have this discussion again. Yes, I am barbecuing. All right. Don't you look at me like that. I'm going out and barbecuing on the grill. Okay, we do not need to have this conversation again. All right, we're good.
Jack has something to say. You can
Say
see it
it.
on his face.
Took it personal.
I took that personal.
Well, that does it for the Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and WEGLFM.com. For more, make sure you check out WEGL's Spotify and iTunes page, or I say Apple Podcast page, for more. And make sure you check out the show at... Look, I don't know why YouTube does this, but we go live at 4:45 on YouTube. I honestly cannot change it to anything else. It's either you get 4:15, 4:30, or 4:45, but you do not get the top of the hour. So I do not get to choose that. 4:45 is the live premiere of the Extra Point on YouTube, and the podcast. I'm moving the podcast. I made it live at the same time as the actual show, but I'm moving that up because we need to make sure that we have the expert analysis before the MLB postseason starts. So the podcast will be live in about an hour after this show. Well, hold up, that doesn't make any sense. It'll be live at about 10:30 Central Time. How about that?
Also, go to the website, weglfm.com. Alex and Jacob are doing a great job of whipping all the sports writers into shape and
Heck yeah.
pumping out the articles. So if you want to see some in-depth analysis of Auburn quarterback Bo Niz and his prolific Heisman chase, just check out weglfm.com, weglfm.com, for all of the exciting sports and other content we're putting out. You can also listen to the station right from weglfm.com from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. So no need to be in Auburn or surrounding areas.
Even Antarctica?
If you're in Murdo Station and you got a broadband connection, you can hear Weagle FM. You will still hear the buzzing, but I've been told by our chief engineer that the WEGL FM buzzing sound is going away in the very near future. So gone but not forgotten.
I've heard that for 5 years. I don't believe it
Buzzing
yet.
sound. I mean, I'll believe it when I hear it or don't hear it, I guess. But according to chief engineer, that is he is on death's door.
All right, well, that does for Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and WEGLFM.com.